הולכים בין כך?
עכשיו ציבור אומר, לא, הנה, תראה, הכל שקט,
שקט.
הכל שקט, תוך שנייה, אבל זה יכול להתאפס שם, זה לא, זה רוסים, הם לא משחקים. לא, הנה, תראה, הנה, השמש זורחת, תרנגולים, הכל שקט. לא נורמלי. ראית את השמולת את כל אלה תאומה?
לא ראיתי.
כל הישראל.
מה מחכים להביא את הקבר לארץ? זה הכי טוב.
האוקראינים לא רוצים.
כן? לא צריכים לישון. הימים האלה לא צריכים לישון.
מראש השנה הזה הם חיים כל השנה. הכפר וכל זה, מהחג, הם חיים כל השנה, זה הכסף שלהם. אתה לוקח להם את הקבר, זהו. הרעפת אותם.
Okay, so
thank you.
Let's start. Okay. So today is a very special day, and it's a day that was made. The announcement was made that Tomchei Temimim starts. So let's learn about it. So Rabbi told me to learn about this. It should be a shtikel of Farbrengen. So this sikha is both at the same time. So the Rabbi says like this: what's the meaning of the 15th of Elul? That the moon is complete.
The moon is complete is every month.
Yeah, but every month when comes that day, it's a special day every month. You know that Tu B'Av is even more special because after the Yerida of Tisha B'Av. But we know that when the 15th of the month comes and is a complete moon, it is always a special day. Why? Because since the Eden are similar to the moon, and also we count the days like the Levana. Why we are similar to the moon? Because every month we start from nothing and then we become something. And it's explained in many memorim and sikhs from the Rebbe that what happens at the 16th that it goes down doesn't go down. Once you get to the top that you could get, you keep on going higher because you have more bitul.
Okay.
Now you start getting bitul. Bitul every day a little bit more bitul until the next month you have a chidush, but the chidush is not the same thing than last month. It's higher than last month. Yeah. So move on. So it's understood that everything that has to do with the moon, Moilat HaLevana, Rosh Chodesh, in Rosh Chodesh is the Moilat of the moon, and also what happens on the 15th of the month that is complete. You could find in Avodah Ruchnis of every Jew, and also in general all the Eden together. Same thing today, the 15th of Elul. Shleimus avoided the Chodesh Elul. Today the Rebbe says that is the Shleimus of the avoided Chodesh Elul. We started to work on Chodesh Elul from Rosh Chodesh. Yeah, today we got to something to a Shleimus.
Like this, exactly the same thing.
Every year it should be like this, no?
No, Rosh Hashanah is Monday.
Okay, and today is Sunday.
Elul came out on a Sunday, which is Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah, but if it would be a different day, so Dalet can be Thursday. It would have been Thursday, so Rosh Chodesh today would have been the 15th would have been on a Wednesday. So every year would be the same thing. Because Elul is always the same amount of days. Huh? Okay.
Weiter.
So the same thing that the Shleimus, the Chodesh Elul, the Pashtos, is the 29th of Elul, and that always is the day before Rosh Hashanah, and even in days of the week. So today is the same day that is going to be that the day before Rosh Hashanah. Yeah. So that's a Gemara Shleimus, and this is a Shleimus. Today is complete the Avodah, and there is the end of the Shleimus. So there is a beginning of the Shleimus and the end of the Shleimus. So today is the Shleimus that is going to be finished. We're going to be the next 2 weeks. We're going to be doing a little bit more, but today we got to a very special level. Besides that, any year since Hashem made the world, this day was a special day. Also, lately, in the later generations, was added a special thing in the 15th of Elul, which is Yom Yasdus Yeshiva Tomchei Temimim, the day that the Yeshiva of Tomchei Temimim was founded.
Taf Resh Nun Zayin.
Taf Resh Nun Zayin. How many years ago is that?
Taf Resh Nun Zayin, Taf Shin Nun Zayin was 100 years. Nun Zayin to 3 days. 125.
That's a very special number also. Yeah. So who was the one that founded it? Rabbi Rashav was the one that founded it. Menal Bepoyel, who was the Menal Bepoyel, the director of the yeshiva. His only son, the one that filled this place.
He's the only yeshiva in the world that started 120 years ago and still continue today. All the other yeshivas started 50 years ago, 70 years. He's the only yeshiva that 125 years and still today. The same learning. He's the only yeshiva, the whole world. There's no other yeshiva like this. That exists 125 years. Continue.
The Mir Yeshiva didn't continue by going from there to
all these yeshivas.
Somehow they stopped us for a while.
Here, yeshiva continue.
Very good. Good to know. Even though at that time there were many yeshivas, and even more yeshivas nowadays, it's not the sikhe of the Nishmas Yeden, the Rabbi Rashav Nishmas Yeden, שנמסרו בדין שלו עוד הפעם על ידי כלי הזמור נשיא דורנו, that the Friedrich printed it again, meaning כל היועצה למלחמת בייס דוד. There is a sikhe that it says כל היועצה למלחמת בייס דוד, whoever goes out gets just so whoever comes out to the war in the of David HaMelech, he had to write before he went out a get to his wife, just in case Chas v'Shalom doesn't come back. Yeah,
He shouldn't be aguna.
so it shouldn't be aguna. Correct. So, but this idea in that sikh explains that the idea of that the Temimim, the people that learn in the Yeshiva Tomchei Temimim, are people that they write like a get to everything of this world, and they decide Mesirus Nefesh and to do the right thing. Yeah. There explains that the tafkid of the Talmidim Atmimim, which is those that learn Tomchei Temimim, and the nekude of this is since before Mashiach is going to come was known. There is going to be many people are not going to be thrown, are not going to be doing the things right before Mashiach comes. So people are going to do things against the Torah. So there is a tzorich, there is a need in a tzova, an army should be a special army that they have special koiches that should fight against those powers that make people not be the way they're supposed to be, and they should be able to nullify them. And this is from the beginning. The Rabbi Rashav made the yeshiva because he wanted to create special people that should be able to fight against assimilation. Chayole Beis David. So we are called the Chayolim, the soldiers of the house of David. So how is this done? When people work hard and in spreading the light of Hasidus, like Baal Shem Tov told, the Mashiach told the Baal Shem Tov, when he's going to spread, when the well springs are going to be spread all over the place, that's when Mashiach is going to come. That brings Mashiach. Like the Pasuk finishes saying, or it's going to be all these powers and all these people are going to do all these bad things. But the pasuk says right after that, Baruch Hashem lo'olam amen ve'amen. Bless means draw down. Hashem le'olam forever. Amen ve'amen. He's going to be Hashem revealed here in the world. So basically, what that pasuk is saying is it's going to be a time. I mean, most of the Eden throughout the generations were frum. They stayed always frum. But it was known that before Mashiach is going to come, generations before Mashiach is going to come, it's going to be a problem that many people are not going to be. So the Rebbe Rashab created this yeshiva to give a special qualities and special powers to the people that are going to learn in the yeshiva, to be able to counter that, and Mashiach will come. That's exactly what the pasuk said. It's going to be this problem. Baruch Hashem lo'olam amen ve'amen. Right after that, it's going to be that Hashem is going to be forever and ever in the world. Mashiach's coming.
Look, we have today Bochim that's born up to Gimel Tammuz, right? 19, 20.
Yeah.
They walk every Shabbos from Crown Heights to here to speak in Shiur on Shabbos.
Yeah.
That's, show me any other yeshiva in the world that a Bochim would be willing to go Shabbos afternoon instead of sleeping or whatever, walking a couple of miles.
What about Friday afternoon instead of going to the baseball leagues or things like that?
And go to Mitzvah. I'm saying this is a special force. This is the army that you get. חיילים בית-דוד.
ומזה מובן שסייסדוס ישיבה סמוכי תמימים הוא גם עניין כללי השייך לכל בני ישראל. From this, don't think that the Lubavitch is special. It's for everybody. This is shaykh to all Bnei Yisrael. כמו עניין דקיימוס יבא שלמוסו, like when the moon is complete, it's for everybody. דף שיסייסדוס ישיבה יסוק קשורי מליכו אלוהים של אבויס והקדושים, even though the way it really actually happened was that the Rebbe Rashab went to the oil of his
Tzemach Tzedek and Maharash.
the father and the grandfather. He was still in Lubavitch. And also was connected because when did he say that he's starting the yeshiva? It was in one of the Sheva brachas from his son. His son got married, the Friedrich Rebbe got married Yud Gimel Elul. So tonight was the second and third Sheva. I mean, it was the Tesvav, the 15th was one of the Sheva brachas. Yeah. So even though had a specific thing that he went to the two tzaddikim, to the oil of the Rebbe Maharash and Tzemach Tzedek, and was at the time of the Friedrich Rebbe's Simcha, that later on, I mean, that he made him the Menahel Poel, because since this has to do with the bringing of Mashiach and the Geula of every single Jew, like we said before, this is not something for just a group of people that actually are alumni of that yeshiva. This is something that is something special for everybody. Because the chidush of this geula, Mashiach is going to come now, as opposed to the other geulas, is that nobody is going to stay behind. Everybody's going to come. Because every Jew is going to have a change in himself between the situation of being in Golus and to being a person that is living Geula. Everybody's going to change, not only those that were lucky to actually learn in this yeshiva. At Goshem Yuchades B'Shana this special, that year when the Rebbe said this Maimer, this Sikha, that was 92 years from the time that the yeshiva was founded, and nowadays is 125 in Lubavitch. And also at that time was Shnas HaChamishim, the 50th year that from the time that the yeshiva was moved to the United States. So now that's going to be how many years? 1940. So 82 years.
82 years.
Yeah. So now the Rebbe says about the moving the yeshiva from there to here. The fact that the yeshiva was transplanted to the United States has to do with to be able to spread the wellsprings of Hasidus all over the place. which is a tafkid, which is the function of the Talmidei Temimim, the Talmidim of the Yeshivas of Chabad. Bechatzi Kadur Tachton, mainly in Chatzi Kadur Tachton. The world could be divided in many ways. So you could divide it by the equator, the top and the bottom. So if that's the way you divide it, America and Eretz Yisrael are going to be in the same side. But the Torah calls Chatzi Kadur Tachton the side of Israel, maybe including Europe, I don't know. So that's called the Chatzi Kadur Elyon, the higher side. And the bottom side, instead of making a line from horizontal line, so we make it from the top from the north to the south, and America and Argentina, everything. Yeah, we are all we're in the Chatzi Kadur Tachton, in the half bottom one. Like, because the one that the Torah was given is considered the top one, and the one that the Torah was not given on that one, our side now. Yeah, so this is so the yeshiva was moved to America, and is connected to the fact that there is a need to bring the Apotos Hamayonos also in Chatzi Kadur Tachton. There's a big chidush in this. Like the Piskom Hayudua, that Matan Torah didn't happen in the lower part of the world, basically here. Happened in Har Sinai, which is in the Chatzi Kadur Elyon. With Mele. So what does it mean that didn't happen on this side? There is the Helem and the Hester, the hiding of the Kedusha of Hashem. It's more here, it's darker here on this side than on the other side. The fact that the Torah was given on that side, and the other side, in the Chatzi Kadur Elyon, that itself makes that side should have more light. Somehow it's easier, everything. In this side, there is more darkness. Nevertheless, at the time of the heels of Mashiach, so also we do a Apotos Hamayonos with each chassidus, even in the lower side. Yeah, mainly. Yeah, including and mainly because the Rabbi says, somebody he didn't learn Tomchei Temimim, but he learns Chassidus, he's able to do it. He has to do it also. The Rabbi says mainly happened through the people that actually learn in the Yeshiva, but everybody has to do it. Everybody that is able to do it has to do it. Which is the Talmidim of the Yeshiva Tomchei, they're called the soldiers of the house of David, the Chatzi Kadur Tachton, in the lower half. Has to be done through them. When did the Frierdiker Rebbe decide to print this sikha that speaks about this job? Even though they heard it in the beginning, and at that time they heard about it, but that there is a fight that we have to bring light and bring chassidus all over the place. He definitely said it when he came here, because here is a place where has to, the main thing. וזה גוף הניתוסף אילוי בחידוש מיוחד בקשר עם שנת ה-50. היינו שנוסף על אילוי לשנת ה-40, שכבר נשאלת רבי, אילוי לשנת ה-50, יובל, that time was 50 years from the time that the yeshiva was transplanted to America in 1940. So the Rebbe says, when somebody becomes 40, or 40 years after he heard something from his Rebbe, that's when he starts understanding what he meant to say. Before, you understand a lot, but 40 years later, that's when you start getting it. So the Rebbe says, hey, this is 50 years at that time. 50 years is much more than 40. At 40, we understood. Now we're 50 already. So imagine what it means. To us, it means that now we are in 82. So if at 50 was more than 40, and 80 is twice 40 plus, yeah. So
2 times 4. 2 times 4.
Yeah. The Rebbe says that we need to connect this with the parsha of the week. What's the parsha of the week? When you come to the land, we need to take from the beginning, from the first fruits of the land and to bring them as bikurim to the Beis Hamikdash. Yeah, and we put it there. There's a whole thing that the way it's supposed to be, like the Rambam explains that from the towns they used to walk and they used to get together and they used to come together to Yerushalayim and they used to have the bikurim and there was a special way how to put it in the basket so it should be beautiful, and they used to have the birds that they were bringing for korbanos, and people from Yerushalayim used to come out to greet them. It was a whole beautiful thing, ceremony, how it happened. So this parsha says you're going to come to the land, you're going to plant and everything like that. You're going to have the first fruits. So you're going to take from the fruits and from the first ones, and you're going to bring them to Yerushalayim, and it's going to be bikurim. So the mitzvah of bikurim is mereishis kol pri adama. The mitzvah of bikurim is from the first of all the fruits of the land. Because a guf of mereishis, below kol reishis, is not everything, is mereishis, from the beginning, but not kol reishis, not the whole beginning. So not everything that was growing that's called the beginning in general, but parts of it. Yeah. So you see how the Torah is exact. When it says mereishis, means that there is something in general that's called the reishis, the beginning. You take a part of it, not the whole thing. And in this parsha, in these words of these bikurim, that is from the beginning, from the first fruits, yeah, that's the idea of also primis HaTorah. Why? There's a remes.
The Gemara says that you take a teina and go
You put a
So the Rabbi
string.
explained that here. Why dafka teina?
Mm-hmm.
You have rimunim, which is Shiur, you have tmorim, you have teina. Because one day on the Gemara is all the Mauritian, the chet was with etz teina. How do you know? Because after he made the chet, Hashem said, "Who told you?" So it was
Aisha.
he said the other way.
Mm-hmm.
So that he said, "Okay, I have to make it close now." He went to every tree, not sure want to give him leaves. Then says, "I made you the chet, I'll give you the leaves." Tafka this. So this is the one that is. So Mereshis, the bikurim that we're doing now, is the tikkun for the Mauritian that.
All the way to the beginning.
And
You take from the beginning.
The thank you. He didn't thank Hashem. Hashem gave him a wife. When I said thank you, he said she's the one. So we're doing bikurim now to attack and the other Mauritian. And that is the first thing when it comes to the soul. You want to say thank you.
And the first fruits that they get, bikurim, are the te'enim.
You want to say thank you, Hashem.
Yeah.
It's not here. But
So that's the idea of primis HaTorah, beremes, because the Torah is called Reishis. We know that Bereishis, Bishvil Shnei Beis Reishis. Yeah, so primis HaTorah is Reishis of the Reishis. Torah is called Reishis, the beginning. And what's Reishis of Reishis? What's the beginning of the beginning? Me Reishis. That's primis HaTorah. The top of the Torah is the primis HaTorah. So through this that we understand that the Chassidus is the top of the top, and it's merumos in this parsha in the union of the Bikurim. So now we could get the connection between and the Shaykhs to the Chidush that happens to the fact that Tomchei Temimim was founded. Shagilu the primis HaTorah, that the revelation of primis HaTorah, that is called Mei Reishis, Nimshach Bechoider Gam Beikveis Mashiach, that goes all the way down to the lowest generation. It's called Ikves the Mashiach, the heels of Mashiach. In other words, if the highest generations were called the head, and every generation was like going down on the body of the Jewish people, like all the generations are like one great big body. So we are the heels, represent the heels. So that's low, because there's many nice nuts. Yeah. So and the idea of Tomchei Temimim created, established at this time, and the main thing, the main difference between Tomchei Temimim and the other yeshivas was that besides learning Nigle, Gemara, Shulchan Aruch, everything, like all the other yeshivas, we also learn as part of the Seder in the morning and at night Chassidus, Pnimis HaTorah. So the idea of Tomchei Temimim is to bring this Mereishis all the way on the top, the Primus HaTorah, the secrets of the Torah, all the way down to the generation that is called the hills, yeah, to the lowest. That means that even in the lowest level, which is the Akev, the hill, Akotze Ofchi Midargas HaRoish, the opposite of the side of the head, which is called Reishis, and so much more from the opposite of the Mei Reishis, from the top of the top, Nimshach v'choide ragilo the Primus HaTorah. He's drawn down and he penetrates the revelation of Primus HaTorah. Ki yodua shedavka b'dor Yisrael acharoi nimutar u'mitzvah legalo zeh zachochma. Like says that in this generation says that not only that it's permitted, but it's a mitzvah to reveal the chochma of Primus HaTorah. U'ifrat lachri ha'geula v'yutes Kislev, and so much more that we are after the Geula of Yutes Kislev. And when the Alter Rebbe came out in prison, so they told him, the Baal Shem Tov and the Mezritcher Maggid came to his prison cell after they passed away. But they spoke to him, and he said, they said, why is he there? So they told him, because you are teaching too much, the secrets of the Torah. And they said, so when I come out, the Alter Rebbe asked them with Chochmah, when I come out, should I stop? He said, no. You're going to come out and you're going to do even more than before, because Hashem actually agreed that should happen. Everybody should learn. So, and that's going to bring Mashiach. So just imagine that you're in a plane, that the plane is going at a certain altitude, and it's all the time at the same thing, and suddenly the permission is to start landing. The second that the Alter Rebbe came out from prison, Yutes Kislev, that was the beginning of the landing, because that was the beginning of teaching Chassidus. That eventually the Rebbe Rashab made sure that everybody could learn and teach, to the point that we could teach everybody, and Mashiach would come all the way to the hills. That's especially after the Gula of Yutes Kislev, that then started mainly the Inyan of Yefutzum and Nesecho Chutza, that the wellsprings of Chassidus and Primus HaTorah should be spread all over outside. This nullifies all the problems of this generation with the coming of Mashiach. And when we do this, we also have the schus to be able to do the mitzvah of Bikurim in the most complete way. Also, we're going to come into the land. We're going to be able to take from the first fruits of the land. And we're going to go to the place that Hashem is going to choose, the Beis HaMikdash. Including everything that says there, because at that time, when people bring the Bikurim, they have to make a vidui of maises. I don't have anything in my house. I already gave the trumas maisres to the Levi, maiser Rishon, maiser Sheni, maiser Oni. I don't have anything in my house. And then we tell Vesiyum Parsha, and until the theme of the Parsha, that's Ashkifu Mimen Kochecho Min HaShomayim B'Oreches HaMchois Yisrael, Hashem should look from his abode and the holy abode in the Shomayim, and he should bless the Jewish people, his nation, the Jewish people, Veso Adomo, and the land, Eretz Ovas Cholavut Dvosh, a land that flows honey and dvash. That means that when Mashiach is going to come, this is going to happen again to us. A Maise Woiker, and the main thing is the Maise. So Elul, but now that we are in the 15th of Elul, Yeshiva, that's the day that the Yeshiva was established. Like the Megillah says. The Megillah says that these days are remembered and they're made happen. So every year, every Jew does Purim again. So the Mezritcher Maggid said that explains the idea that every time that something comes the same day, when it's Korim, when you remember these things, Naisim, the same things that happened the first time happen again. And we know from the last few days in Tanya that every year Hashem sends light into the world to give life to the world at the time that we blow the shofar. And every year is the same idea but in a higher level. Huh? So it's Chadash, but it never came. But it's Chadash because it's even higher than last year. So the same idea here is that every year is higher. Yeah. So when we remember these days, they happen, but they happen in a higher level. Called Shona v'Shona every year. Especially the Rebbe says about that year there was 50 years, and nowadays there is 125 years. So we need to add in all. Thank you very much.
Give somebody who doesn't have a phone. Sure.
Okay, very good. Close this. Yeah. Okay, the Maisa Oika. So the Maisa is the most important thing. So now we're in the 15th of the year, Elul. This Yomim Niskorim Enaisim, these days when we remember them, the same things happen B'chol Shona v'Shona every year. Umiyuchot v'Shona Zu, especially in this year, the Rebbe said that was 50 years. So we need to add in Inyonim Avoida that are connected Misyasus Yeshiva with the establishment of the Yeshiva. So what is the main thing and includes everything of the establishment of this Yeshiva? So what we need to do is we have to add in the avoid that has to do with the way the Yeshiva, the purpose of the Yeshiva, which is so that we have to spread the wellspring of Mashiach out there. That through this Mashiach comes like the Mashiach told the Baal Shem Tov when he had Aliyas Neshama, he told him that when your wellsprings are going to be all over the place, Mashiach is going to come.
In other words, the Rabbi says the Yeshiva opened starting 100 years ago, but it's like if it's starting now. The Bekurim is now. The Aputzama is now also.
Yeah. Okay. Just think about it. There is a shliach all over there is shluchim all over the place. So it's happening. It's happening now. Whatever he wanted to do at that time, and he said the sicha, and at that time, if somebody thought about what is he saying, what Chayol Beis David, most of the Eden were prum at that time. At that time, there was not the problem didn't happen yet. There were Eden, millions of Eden in Europe that were prum, and in Russia, everybody was before the communism.
In America, like 50 years ago, we say California. California is the clippest place. Only movies and stars like that. Should be a Jewish kehillah over there. Should be a home place with kosher restaurant. It's like who would live it?
Everywhere it's happening. But our job is not just that it should be kosher. That it should be Fotas Hamayonos. People should be able to learn Chassidus and to be able to, if you can't teach him a whole thing, but nekuda here and there, so people should bank on it. The truth is a lot of things of Chassidus seeped into everybody nowadays. It's not only the people that actually learn, which is the best, but even the people that don't learn so much that they also get it.
Yeah.
So the Rebbe says, let me explain to you what the Maise U'Iker I mean. All the things have to do with the yeshiva, they get. It's not that okay, 2 generations ago the yeshiva had more koiches than no. The Rebbe says the yeshiva gets these koiches in every generation. From every generation, with cholat toikef, with the biggest strength. From cholat yeshiva, it's lavdavka yeshiva is chasidiyos, like all the yeshivas, not just the yeshivas chasidische, alachas kam yeshivas chasidiyos, and so much more in yeshiva chasidiyos. Every yeshiva has that there's a way how the yeshiva goes. So it's not something that they lost it because 100 years ago they had it in a certain way and now they don't have it. It keeps being transmitted to the next generation in any yeshiva, and so much more in the yeshivas with Chassidus. Why the Rebbe says that in a yeshiva that learns Chassidus, the inyanim go from generation to generation with all the strength, with all the toikev, because when something is penimi, when something you're able to internalize it, is something that you could internalize, has to be more internalized, has to be more revealed. You have more. If whatever you're learning goes more inside you, you're going to be able to show it. There was a story with the Rabbi who was a shliach in Argentina. So I think I said this story once in a chassidus in the morning. Once that Rabbi Morozov asked me to teach. Agudas Yisrael asked him he should be a teacher in the yeshiva in Argentina. There was a yeshiva from Agudas Yisrael, and they asked him to be a teacher. So, but one condition, he can't talk chassidus, no chassidus. The Rebbe told him, so he was going to say no. I said, but I'm a shliach. I'm not doing whatever I want. I'm asking the Rebbe. He asked the Rebbe told him, go, don't teach chassidus, and be there. Yeah, just teach. You just teach. Now, fast forward, many of the students became Chabad. Yeah, and they came to the Yeshiva here in Eretz Yisrael. And even the head shliach of Argentina was one of was one of the students. So they explained why. Is it like this? They look at him, they saw in him something that they did not see in the others. The way he davened, the way he conducted himself, that itself, without saying the chassidus, the gilui of chassidus, even though they didn't know what it is. What is that this guy has that the other guys don't have? Yeah, that itself was what pulled them to him. So that's the idea that, especially in a yeshiva, Tomchei Temimim, that the Hasidic yeshiva that with the chassidus, that because these things are more pnimi, so has to be more internalized. The idea and the toikif and the strength that from generation to generation, and more revealed, could be even revealed when you don't talk about it. Yeah. That the kiyum of the yeshiva, the how do you say kiyum, the fact existence of the yeshiva keeps on happening from generation to generation through the person that is in charge in that generation. So the same thing is in the yeshiva of Tomchei Temimim, that all the young of the yeshiva, they are with all the toikef, with all the strength, from the time that the yeshiva was established by the Rebbe Rashab, that the Menayel at that time was executive director, was the Frierdiker Rebbe, and also after the Rebbe Rashab and his son became Mamle Koimer as Nasa Yisrael. So him Shichli is Menayel Poel the yeshiva. He kept on being the executive director. Even he put his oldest son-in-law, Chassan Kivnoy, like Chassan is like his son. Gisi, the Rebbe says, my brother-in-law, the Menayel Yeshiva Poel. Gamaz Nisharhu, at that time also the Frierdiker Rebbe stayed, the Menayel Poel Pnimius, all the days of his life, and also after his Istalkus. And even after his son-in-law was appointed through the Frierdiker Rebbe, Nimtzo ve'almo dekshoit. Also, there is at that time the Rebbe said this Sikhe also was after he passed away. That he also has to do with the yeshiva. It's interesting because in the Babich Yeshiva here was a place in National Parkway, was a place where he ran the whole thing, not only here but it's Israel.
The whole world.
Yeah, all the yeshivas Tomchei Temimim, the Rashag, the Rebbe's brother-in-law, and Stein. Every time that he passes through the door of his office, he kisses a mezuzah like there's something. And the Rebbe says clearly here that even after his brother-in-law passed away, that his peula in the yeshiva, like whatever is it dependent on him. Especially that there he could talk to the executive director, which is the Frierdiker Rebbe. That now also comes with the Frierdiker Rebbe, the ashpoe, how do you say the ashpoe, influence of the Frierdiker Rebbe. Through those that they have the merit and they were appointed to be the ones that run the yeshiva. Neshama is begufim, people are here, but neshama is inside bodies. Ha'anole ruchnis v'anole gashmis, whether it's a part ruchni or the gashmi. At kiyum ha'yud, akitzu v'ran m'shoknei offer, until it's going to happen. Where Hashem said that when Mashiach is going to come, those that shochnei offer, that are dwelling in the dust, are going to wake up and they're going to sing, which is the Frierdiker Rebbe, that until he's going to come back. Also is move on from this is understood that that all the details in that sikhe where it says that the people that learn in Tomchei Temimim are Chayole Beis David, they have a job of turning around the tide of assimilation and to bring Eden back to Yiddishkeit and to Nayonis and the wellsprings of Chassidus should come to everybody. This is all these things that says they are in the talk from ad etzem hayoyim hazeh. They are the toikef, they are in the full of strength until today. Nowadays it's even more than before. Because at that time was the year 50. The Rebbe said basically as the years passed, so it gets better. And now it's not 50, it's 82. Since the time that the Yeshiva was transplanted to America, and 125 from the time that it was created. And it says like this, but this is not only talking about the students of Tomchei Temimim that they are presently in the Yeshiva. Even to people that they don't feel the connection with the Yeshiva, to the point that they feel that in the past I learned in the Yeshiva. You know why these people are also connected? Kedusha is also Mimkoima. Kedusha doesn't move from its place. We mele nishorim talmidei Tomchei Temimim kol meshe yifnei. So whoever was a talmid in Tomchei Temimim stays a talmid forever, all the days of their life. Yeah. In these weeks. Oh yeah. Thank you. He didn't look like a Tomim. Yeah.
You're a son of a father, you never could disconnect from the
yeah.
What's the Tomim?
And the same thing as those that in the future are going to be part of Tomchei Temimim, including the new branches, the Tomchei Temimim that are going to be added through with the time. And the Rebbe puts the way how this needs to happen. It has to happen. You can't just, not anybody could just open and says, oh, I'm opening, I live in far away in a place that I want to open, I open. No, you have to call the Anola of the central Anola and to speak to them, and they have to agree because they have to give you the way to do it. The Rebbe says that on top of that, I want to add in this Isoirus to make things happen in the Poel Mamesh. We said that you need to learn Chassidus and we need to teach Chassidus, yeah? So kedai v'nochin she'atfisu ed hapam sicho anan. It's very important that sicha should be printed again. Asher miteva b'nei odom, because the nature of people is shedovar anisvas mechodosh. If something is printed again, afal pi shenisva ve'ovar, even though it was printed in the past or was in the WhatsApp a few minutes ago, yesh bo me'ein achavivus the chidush gomor. Yeah, this is something special because this is something new. Especially that from the time that this sikh was printed and was spread all over the place years ago, it was many years in between for whatever reason, by reading and learning the sikha. Much more, I mean, if you don't learn it, so limud that has to bring to maise. And the Rebbe smiled at that time and he says, there's let's not talk about something that was not
Negative.
proper. What I'm trying to say is that from now on, we should have a ishtadlus, but have to make up for what happened, and because of we have to make up, we have to do more that altogether should be more than what would have been if everybody would have done until today whatever they did, what we're supposed to do. Everything has to do with the Quetishas Adonenu Nishmas Eden, Oidas Tachliso, with Matosa Shel Yeshiva. It has to do with the Tachlis and the Matorah, the goal of the Yeshiva, basically learning Chassidus and teaching the Chassidus. And הפצת היהדות. וכדאי גם שיציינו תאריך זה על ידי חגיגה מיוחדת. And the Rebbe says it's important that should have a special חגיגה, כטבע בני אדם שחגיגה מיוחדת מוסיפו חיוס, like the טבע of the people that when you want to bring more חיוס, you have to make it like a party. החל מיום תסבוב אלול עצמוי, and the Rebbe says starting from today, החל מיום שלאחר זה, the days after, עד לחי אלול, until חי אלול, שבו יוסף ספרס הלימוד בישיבה בפעם הראשונה. That even though it was announced that the yeshiva was going to be made in the 15th, today, the first day of the yeshiva was Chai Elul.
What did this mean to Chai Elul?
Farbrengen. That's what the Rabbi is saying here.
That's how they start the yeshiva. 2 days Farbrengen, then you start on.
ולחץ כמה יומים אלו, לאחר ריבו יסיכו יסוידו חי אלול. Nowadays, after so many sikhs about what the importance of Chai Elul, החל מהפירוש זה חי אלול, starting with the pirush of Chai Elul, שמכניס חיוס בכל עניין העבודה אלול, that brings חיוס in all the עניינים of Elul, that's why it's called Chai Elul, brings חיוס to the עניינים of Elul, which is, what is the עניין of Elul? Gimel HaKavim, the 3 kavim of Torah, Avodah, Minus Chasodim. Torah, Avodah means Tefillah, davening, and Minus Chasodim. Tshuva, Vegeula, and also the idea of Elul is Tshuva and Geula. That is also in the Rosh Hashanah. All these are in the Rosh Hashanah.
Thank you, Pastor.
Yeah. כך שתהיה חגיגה נמשכת מתסבוב אלול עד לחי אלול. The very one that should be a Yom Tov from today all the way to Chai Elul. אף על פי שיעשו הפסק לאכילה ושתייה. So even though you're going to stop for eating and וכמה לתפילה בתורה, for sure that you have to stop from learning and for davening. כל גם פרימוס התורה, also learning פרימוס התורה. אחד מהשיר היום ותני וכיוצא בזה. For sure people are going to say the Shiur of Tani from the day. We're not going to skip anything. We're going to have a Farbrengen, but the Farbrengen is going to be around the things that we need to do anyhow. You cannot skip anything because of what I'm telling you. The Rebbe says has to be Farbrengen every day, but everything has to happen. Every day we need to do our avodah, as if I didn't tell you yet this, but this has to be added only. Give to the Chochem, and it's going to be more Chochem. If you teach something to somebody that's smart, so he's going to be able to find more details and more inyonim in what you taught him by himself. So when I'm telling you this, so you're going to realize more. That all those that are going to put themselves in kol hashturim behavren, with all the, I say shturim in English, with all the
noise,
fervor, and bren means fervor also, but shturim means like a storm, and bren means like a fire. Yeah, we call it pnimius v'chayus, and they're going to put all the pnimius, all everything that they have inside, and the chayus. For sure that you're going to add to all the things that I'm saying. Like the Chazal said about the 15th of Av, that the 15th of Av is the beginning of the Achon, the Rebbe says, to 15th of Elul, because Shloshim Yom Lifnei, we say Shloshim Yom Lifnei Chag is supposed to already prepare, correct? So if today is a very special day, Tu B'Av, that was unbelievable special, is a preparation for this. And what did we say in Tu B'Av? Tu B'Av, we said that the nights, that's when the nights start getting, I mean, now is Shabbos was 6:57 already, we lit the candles this Shabbos. Because it gets, the nights get longer. So night also represents darkness, but also represents represents there is more time at night to learn. And the Chachamim said, the Moisif Yosef,
Also,
that whoever adds in learning at night, says more nights. The nights were given to learn. Now that it's becoming longer nights, we have more time of the night, so we need to learn more. Day is a time that when you work. Listen, day is a time. There's two things. This is what comes to my mind. This is not what he's saying here. I'm telling you what I think. Day is a time of. Day is a time that people go out to learn, to work. Yeah. But you have more time. Normally, people.
More put your face in Shachar. A person alone at night. Put your face in Shachar. It's more chesed coming.
Running of a saffron. So, bottom line, you have more time to do that. Yeah. Also, night means darkness. So you bring more. You have a chance to bring more light to the darkness. He's going to say at least something similar. But the idea of you have more time.
The Vav of 30 days before. One of the Rashi that from Av, Aleph Beis is Elul Bon.
Elul Bon. So in other words, the 15th of Av, that the nights gets longer, and that's the time that we need to add on learning, and we need to add on learning that brings us also more life, and this is a preparation for the test of Elul, 30 days before today. This was said that if you add, you get more life, meaning Limud Torah. So much more in Torah. So in other words, this Sofa has to be there, the Rebbe says. The fact that you're going to make more Farbrengen, that doesn't mean that you're not supposed to learn more Torah, because the whole thing, especially Primus Torah, which is the life in Torah itself. So Torah is life, and Primus Torah is the life of the Torah. That from today, they're going to add more, we're going to add more in learning Primus Torah in general. We felt the memory Hasidus, the quote, especially the memory from the Friedrich Rebbe. Also the Sikh, also that Sikh where he explains that the Indian of Tomchei Temimim is to be like the soldiers of the house of David, that they used to write a get to their wives, which means that we decide that we're going to do whatever it takes to make sure that this light and Mashiach comes is out there no matter what. And that to the point that we make that this day, the test of Elul should be, or any day that we learn, it should be like 15th of Av, that about 15th of Av, it said, that this was an unbelievable yonte because that came after the Yerida of Tisha B'Av. The Rebbe said this in Tavshim Tes, 1989. So, the same thing about the 15th of Elul of Tavshim Tes. Come to Brooklyn, New York, here in Brooklyn. That every place that we're going to hear these Bakosh Nafshis are, Bakosh Nafshis means a request from my soul. The Rebbe says a personal request, but Nefesh means Nefesh. When the Rebbe says, the Rebbe didn't say something, I didn't mean it.
He really want the Bochum to learn more.
He really wants us to learn more. He really wants us to learn more and more Farbrengen, and you could do it. The Rebbe is saying, I'm not asking you to do this instead of that. Yeah. So the Rebbe says it should be the will of Hashem, that just by the fact that we're talking about all this, and now we're also talking about this, should make happen that each one of us should make good resolutions inside our hearts. In other words, it's not what you to tell other people or to show off. Has nothing to do with showing off. Has to do with the heart of each one of us. But sometimes when things are in the heart, you don't actually, maybe it's going to stay in the heart. No, the Rebbe says, I mean, do it in your hearts, but these resolutions, but make it happen that even today already we start on this. To add even more, delay each one according to his level, and a little bit more than what you think it's possible for you to do. Go out of your comfort zone. To learn Primus HaTorah, together with Nigle, not instead. Together with all the other things of Tefillah, Tzedakah, which is the avodah of Chodesh Elul, the way that they become a string that has made of three strings. It's the same way that when it takes three strings are stronger than one. Yeah. So when we do all of them together, they're much stronger, each one of them, all of them together. Also Tefillah and Tzedakah, besides Primus HaTorah, Tefillah and Tzedakah also have to do with the Chidush of the Yeshiva of Tomchei Temimim, because Tefillah, like the pasuk said, that we said in the pasuk, that is a time of assimilation and problems and people that do things against Yiddishkeit and things like that. The Rebbe said what? We bring the Rebbe Hashem made Tomchei Temimim, and in every generation keep on teaching, learning Chassidus and teaching Chassidus. Yeah, that brings Mashiach. That's the last pasuk. Baruch Hashem Eloheinu Amen ve'Amen. That's the idea of Tefillah. בהמשך לשאר חיפו ונשארו אשר נוסח זה שייך לא כל כך ללימוד התורה. That lotion, Baruch Hashem לא ילום אמן ואומן, is something we do through תפילה. אלא לעבוד את התפילה, וצדוקה שמקרב את הגאולה. Tzedakah has to do with Tomchei Temimim also, because it brings the Geula closer. Especially that, what is the main Tzedakah that Hashem did with us? We would have been like the Gemara says, Kama Yosef Beshuka. Rabbi Yosef was so happy and came Shavuos, because it says that if it wasn't because of that day, how many Yosef was? Would have been another guy, another John in the street. So Hashem made an unbelievable tzedakah that it chose us to be His nation. He chose us to be from all the nations, and He gave us His Torah. Torah soy davke. Torah soy. Doesn't say Torah. It says Torah soy. His Torah. What's the meaning of that extra vav? His Torah. Primus HaTorah. Rashis of Rashis. The way that the Torah is all the way in the top by Hashem, the Torah together with Nigle, if we should not see Torah Achas, like that one Torah, especially that the Rebbe's Mamorim and Siches puts everything together. It's not separated. When you learn Nigle, when you see everything together, if you put them together, we have noise in a Torah in a way that noise in a Torah, like we know that like in the second Beis Hamikdash, they did everything, but just that they in first Beis Hamikdash, no. They did not say the Birchos HaTorah first. They did say, but the problem was that the noise in a Torah was not there. So one thing is to learn Torah, and another thing is to learn Torah knowing that you're learning the Torah of the noise in a Torah. The more of a Chassidus, Adiuk, the noise and Lashon Hoiv, and also noise means that He's giving it now. At this moment, it's not that Hashem chose us from all the nations 3,300 and something years ago. Yeah, He's doing it now, this moment. Noise in a Torah means now. And the main thing is by doing all these and doing the things like the Rabbi is asking from all of us, they're more chassidus and then more nigle together, feeling that Hashem is giving us a Torah at this moment, Hashem is choosing us at this moment. So that is memayer, makes faster umezares the coming of Mashiach Tzidkeinu. Because when we have simcha and tuv levav, simcha, happiness and gladness of the heart, this is mebatel, completely nullifies the situation of those that are against Mashiach, against the Torah. And that also, learning Chassidus and all these things, what they do is that they nullify all the limitations, impediments that for whatever reason may be that we're going to happen. being happy takes everything away. It's not that they happen and then because we're happy they go away. We're so happy that they don't even come, all these problems. Even somebody would think that together we're doing the right thing. He could gain something on the side. So we have to add more in all good things. That's the big to the point that from this time that is ikvis Meshichecha, is a heels of Mashiach, we go right away to a situation where we could say, this is the heels of Mashiach. Oh, here is Mashiach. David Malka Mashiach. So we not only that we do what we need to do at the end of Golus, but this also makes us come into the time that we could point to Mashiach. The Rebbe says, let's finish with tzedakah. We could also do that. And adding a little bit from the person. The greatest of the tzedakah is that brings the geula closer. That right after we speak about the Zoich Melugol Mitzvah Hashem Al Mashiach Tzidkeinu, the Parsha says, Ki Sova Yel Haaretz. When you go to the land, Kol Bnei Yisrael, every year, Binoreinu Vizkeinu, the younger people, the older people, our sons, our daughters, Kol Legam Kitzu V'Ranu Shnoch Neofer, including those that they are dwelling in the dust, the Kol Godol, and a great congregation is going to come back in a way that this idea that we're creating, that Hashem should be great, which means in the world. When is Hashem great? When it's in the world, that we bring Hashem into the world by learning Torah, doing mitzvahs and everything. Yeshiva, they're going to come back here to Eretz Yisrael, Bishlei Muso, complete Eretz Yisrael, Eretz Resumois, the land of the 10 nations, including Keni, Kniz, Kadmoni, the extra 3 lands that Hashem is going to give us, because the 7 represent the 7 midas. And the 3 extra is going to be also the Moyach, Chochma Bin Das. Whereas Israel Atzmo, in Israel itself, we are going to be Leira Biro, the capital, Yerushalayim Mira Kodesh, Hashem Iro, Hashem Sholem. That the word Yerushalayim means 2 things: Iro and Sholem. Iras Hashem in the most complete way. Shleimus Ha'iro, Shekoshur in Primus HaTorah, that to reach the level of Shleimus Ha'iro, that a person should be the most complete that a person could be in Iras Shomayim, is when a person learns Primus HaTorah. With Shalayim Atzmo, in Shalayim itself, Le'ara Kodesh, we're going to go to Ara Kodesh, to the Beis HaMikdash, Mikdash Adonai Kodesh Yodecha, the Beis HaMikdash that Hashem's hands are going to make, Ad the Kodesh HaKadoshim, we're going to go to the Kodesh HaKadoshim, Shuvah Luchos Rishonis, Luchos HaKaronis, that we are today in the Kodesh HaKadoshim, like the Rambam says, Ad the Luchos, and we're going to be the Luchos Rishonis and the Luchos HaKaronis. That means that the luches, as opposed to the Sefer Torah, the letters in Sefer Torah are written on top, ink on top of parchment, but in the luches are engraved, which means that the letters are part of the stone. That means that we are going to be connected with Hashem, feeling that we're part of Primus HaTorah. That's Primus HaTorah. That this idea of being one with Hashem, not like something like we have no choice but we daven, and even when we daven we get inspired, but we are 2 separate things, but we are one thing. In Avodas Atfilah. The main thing is that this night we all already are zoich to the complete cheirus, freedom. The Kabe Shofar Godel Cheiruseinu, that is going to be blown the shofar to our cheirus, with the happiness and gladness of the heart. They take it from Yad Mamish, and this should happen very soon. So basically, the date is Temimim, the day. This yeshiva, before people knew what's coming, the Rebbe Rashab already created it to turn around the tide of the assimilation and to bring Mashiach. And that's through the special thing that this yeshiva has, not only that Primus HaTorah, and to spread it all over the place, that's what brings Mashiach, but together with Nigla, together with everything, without stopping anything and just adding to wherever it was. Yeah.
Fine.
It says in the Gemara, like the Shemaim, and starting to tonight. So why we say say right for Shemaim?
The Torah is not in the Shemayim, you're right, because even the psukim that we have now, that even when you don't know the whole depth of every pasuk, is already given to us. In that pasuk that was given to you, that anybody could read, even a kid that is 5 years old, all the Pnimius is inside. It's just that maybe you or me don't know it yet, correct? So that Pnimius that we don't know in the pasuk that was already given to us, that's the way Hashem sees the Torah. So that's called Toirosoi. And that is what Pnimius Torah is all about. What we have today is just like tasting, like Erev Shabbos, you're allowed to taste from the food of Shabbos. So this is the taste, but it's the taste that brings us into the Geula, correct? So Mashiach, so nowadays also what we know would be called Toirosoi, his Torah. But when Mashiach is going to come, you'll see. We'll see. We're not going to have any shyness. The Torah was already given. The Torah is here. It just needs to be revealed. Somebody has to show it to us.
I read you said, well, it's not happening to say take it, right? So you say, but
Yes.
She will come, then it's good. 50 Shari,
Bina. The noon. Very good. Very good, Reza said. But the truth is, we're going to get even higher.
Oh. Good.